Hello. God, this thing drives me crazy sometimes. Hi, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. Boy, you guys are just getting the quick jump on everything. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the vibration of 2025 and the energy that it was bringing in for us to live within. And one of the main themes of the year 2025 is detoxifying who we are and what's going on with us. And so I thought for the next few weeks, I would do a series on detoxification, not just detoxifying the physical body, but detoxifying our relationships, detoxifying our home space, detoxifying our mental space. But tonight, we're going to focus on our physical body because excuse me, there is the body, mind, spirit aspect to everything. And so today is physical. And so if you think about it, our bodies are designed to assimilate proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And that's pretty much it. And sugars, but that's a kind of carbohydrate. And so in the world that we live in, we take in a lot of things that are not proteins, carbohydrates, or fats, like propylene glycol or red dye number 2, or some of the synthetic chemicals that are put into our foods to preserve them, or the toxins that are in the air that we breathe. And they go into our body, and our livers really try, and kidneys and colon try to detoxify all of these things. But it can only do so much. And so I'm hoping that you have a piece of paper and pencil, and or that you listen to this show over after I'm done, especially with this intro part, with a piece of paper and pencil, because I'm going to throw out a lot of material that you're going to want to write down, especially if there's something that you've been thinking about doing. And so without buying any supplements or doing anything particularly special, one of the first ways that we can detoxify our body is to really look at our diet. We can get rid of the junk food that we're eating, look at foods that have a lot of chemicals in them. As they like to say, eat from the edge of the supermarket. That's where the meats are, that's where the dairy is, and that's where the vegetables are. And if you really stick to the edge of the grocery store, maybe get some rice and beans, those are on the good list. You are not going to be adding extra chemicals into your body. One of the things I like to do as I stand in line at the supermarket is look at people's carts and go, oh, well, that person's going to have a heart attack because it's just like filled with, all kinds of meat or fatty foods. Or this person has just got like a sugar thing going on because it's just, like sweets and carbohydrates. Or, this person, it's full of cup of chemicals, instant foods that are just chemical laden that our body has to figure out what to do with. And many times it just gets stuck in our physical body. But since our body is made up of so many parts, it's not just about doing a liver cleanse, even though that is a key thing that if you're going to do a detox that you would want to do. So I'm going to start there and kind of go through several other detoxes that might sound appropriate for you. So our liver is one of our primary detoxification organs. And, it can get overloaded with stuff. So if you're having like allergy-like symptoms a lot, perhaps you need to detox your liver. If you're feeling tired or sluggish, Perhaps you need to detoxify your liver. And so with any herbal supplement, when you go to the health food store, there are so many to pick from. And so I'm just going to suggest some herbs that, excuse me, that might be in the combination. That would be a beneficial suggestion, because it's really challenging to name out brand names, because some health food stores carry certain things, other ones don't carry it. If you don't live in the United States, you might not be able to find that brand at all. You know, Amazon tends to be pretty good, but I've learned that like Amazon in Canada, you aren't finding anything. You know, so if you want to detox your liver, you would want to look for herbs such as milk thistle or dandelion. You know, I always like to find ones that have beetroot as part of them, and or turmeric. And those can work synergistically to help the liver let go of basically the chemicals and perhaps fat that we have been hanging on to. And again, our liver is one of our primary detoxification organs. And so doing a detox on it just makes sense. One of the other major detoxification organs in our bodies are our kidneys. You know, and our kidneys sit in the middle of our back. And we often don't think about detoxing our kidneys, but actually there's a lot of chemicals and processes that happen through the kidneys. And doing a kidney cleanse is actually very simple. And the whole goal is first thing in the morning, before that first sip of coffee, before you eat or drink anything, to take a glass of lemon water. So heat up some water, squeeze half a lemon in it, and drink that down. And that will actually go and flush out the kidneys. If you're having issues with like some kidney stones, or if you are prone to kidney stones or kidney gravel, you know, that would be something that you might want to keep on your agenda to do on a more regular basis. Another very common cleanse is a colon cleanse. Now, with the liver, you can get individual herbs pretty basic and simple. With a colon cleanse, it becomes a bit more complex. Now, if you want to do a hardcore colon cleanse, I would recommend, I mean hardcore, I would recommend a website, Arise and Shine, which sends you a kit with like this clay stuff in it and probiotics and fiber, and it basically is either a 2-week or a 1-month cleanse, but that bad boy cleans you out. You know, but again, there are other commercially available colon cleanses that you can do. But if you do one, you always want to follow that up with some kind of a probiotic to nourish the colon and make sure that the good bacteria is in there. Right up there with colon cleansing, and this might sound a little bit gross, is doing enemas, because that will literally flush the colon out. Or you can actually go to see someone and have a colonic done, where they basically backflow water and or some kind of liquid into the colon and wash the colon out. And some people find it very revitalizing. Some people find it very helpful, especially if they have a chronic condition going on, a colonic. Now, another issue that often is tied to the colon is candida. And if you have a history of antibiotic use, if you find that you're a carb junkie, you are a dessert head, and you're craving sugar, you know, whether it is a piece of bread or a candy bar, you might have a candida issue. And so again, there are a lot of commercially available colon cleanse or candida cleanses on the market. But the biggest thing with a candida cleanse is that you have to change your diet, because candida lives on sugar. And so if you do the cleanse and you go back to your old lifestyle of eating a lot of sugar, eating a lot of carbohydrates, then the cleanse wouldn't have done that great of a job. And one of the things that I've seen with a lot of people, and I'm going to say Americans in particular, is they have something that's called systemic candida that has extended outside of their colon. And so even if they do a colon cleanse, that doesn't mean that they've gotten candida out of the rest of their body. And so really paying attention to sugar intake and sugar consumption needs to be something that's on their radar all of the time. Another very common cleanse, and this one is interesting, is a gallbladder cleanse. And when you do a gallbladder cleanse, there are a lot of moving parts to it. And I'm just going to describe it. And if it's something that you are interested in getting information on a gallbladder cleanse, I'm going to describe it. You can reach out to me and I can send you a sheet with the entire gallbladder cleanse on it. But basically a gallbladder cleanse, you drink like apple juice. You want the malic acid from the apple juice to break down and soften the gallstones that might be in your gallbladder. And you do that for 3 days. And then when you're done with that part, you take 16 ounces of olive oil and drinking. So I got a shot glass. And so drinking a full shot glass full of olive oil every 15 minutes, and then rinsing your mouth out with a little lemon juice and perhaps drinking a little pineapple juice to settle your stomach. And you lay on have to think about this, your right-hand side, left-hand side. You lay on one side, I don't remember. And you drink all of that olive oil. And then the next day you are going to be pooping oil, but any gallstones that happen to be in the gallbladder will come out as part of that elimination process. And so if you have any gallbladder issues, or if you eat fatty foods and you find that you burp a lot or you have discomfort and you just kind of steer clear of fatty foods, then maybe doing a gallbladder cleanse would be a worthwhile thing. It's a little bit complex. You really have to want it, but it works really good. And then I have 2 more cleanses. So 2 other cleanses that you might consider is a parasite cleanse. There are some people that think that everyone has parasites. And I would recommend a specific herb, but different parasites die based on different herbs. So some like black walnut, some like wormwood, or don't like, as the case may be. I've been told ivermectin is an antiparasitic, but I don't know if it does a broad spectrum of parasites or just a certain kind of parasites. But when you look at parasite cleanses, like at the health food store, they will tell you what kind of parasites it'll get rid of, whether it is looking at eliminating certain kinds or if it's more of a broad spectrum parasite cleanse. And the last cleanse that I want to talk about is a heavy metal detox, because we can take on, if you had a lot of mercury fillings, you might have mercury toxicity, or you might have some other heavy metals. And when heavy metals enter the body, they actually sit in the fat tissues as opposed to the liver or other organs. And so you have to do something a little bit different. Now, thankfully, this one's pretty easy. By consuming cilantro, or parsley, or a combination of the two, and you can get them in capsules, you can actually detox the heavy metals out of your body. One of the things that I recommend to people is to go low and slow. Like when you do the gallbladder cleanse, you have to do that all at once. So you can't really do the low and slow. Because if your body is really toxic, you might have what's called a healing reaction. And I see this a lot with the liver cleanse or the candida cleanse, where someone just goes at it and their body is reacting because it's not getting what it used to get before. So you might find yourself being a little bit cranky for a couple of days. With the liver cleanse you might not feel good. And that's why they call it a healing reaction. Like you might feel tired or experience some other physical symptom, but that is just part of the healing. It is your liver is letting go of all of this stuff it's been holding on to, and now it's free floating in your blood in the advent of being released out of the body. So even though it might be uncomfortable, it really is a good thing. Okay, so I know I talked really fast and I downloaded a whole lot of information, which is why I suggested having a pen and paper or listening to this piece over again so you can take notes. And if you guys have any questions more specifically about doing some kind of a detox, go ahead and ask that in the chat room, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions specifically. Not if you have something, but about the detox itself. Okay? So as always, if you would like to get a reading for me, just say, hey, Dr. Rita, you have great hair. I'd like a reading, and give me a number between 1 and 3, which will be the number of times I will shuffle the cards. And also, if you could type in all capital letters if it's something that you would like for me to pay attention to and read out loud or read, because there tends to be a lot of chatter. But before I do that, let me just remind you that Thursday Night Live is brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner. And if you go to their webpage, you can download their free Jumpstart Your Intuition guide. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And if you would like help figuring out what kind of cleanse would be important for you, whether you need to get a cleanse, if your body's toxic, if you got something going on in your life that you want somebody to talk to, need some guidance or insight, reach out to me, soulhealer.com, and we can set up a time for a private consultation. And if you're listening to this show on in a rerun on YouTube or on Rumble or Twitter or something like that, and you want to join the live audience, the easiest place to go is my YouTube channel, which is Just Energy Radio on YouTube, and join the fun Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central every week. Okay. Whew, that was kind of a long one, but I think it was a good one. So I hope you got something out of it and enjoyed it, because there's lots of commentary today. Okay, so